let's talk about this whole situation, because we also talked about AOC. It's not that we're trying to take a shot at her, but it is kind of like telling the
she's
fact
an opportunist.
She is an opportunist.
She's a fucking opportunist.
Yes.
I'm sorry. She's an opportunist because she knew that she could get a lot of capital, a lot of fucking attention by providing this aid through Act Blue. By the way, she didn't have to do that. Why didn't she just tell people, hey, here's the list of all these places you can help, directly donate to them? Why'd she have to act like she was the one doing it and put all those photo op moments? Nobody, I'm gonna say it like it is. She literally takes advantage of the situation for political gain, and you know it's that because she's not attacking her own fucking governor in her own state until after the backlash she got as to why she didn't do it. So there's no defense of AOC, and I think a lot of the squad, you know, they vary with what they do well, and we call it out. Like if Rashida does something well, we'll say, oh, she did this well, blah, blah, blah. Same with Ilhan, same with any of them. But the fact is that AOC to me seems to be the one that's mostly the one that is the opportunist more than any of them. And I think the progressives haven't pushed. They haven't pushed, fam. Like the squad should have been there to oppose the Democratic establishment. They've only been opposing the Republicans. And that's not what they were there to do. That's not why progressives as a whole elected them. The congressional districts have different necessities, but at the same time, we're talking about running on Medicare for all. We're talking about running on a Green New Deal. None of that. I mean, there's been fracking permits issued. Joe Biden isn't even touching a public option, something as basic as that. They're definitely not touching Medicare for all, going back on the student loans, completely going back on his promise regarding ICE, every single thing. And where is the squad on holding him accountable?
No, fam, you're wrong. You'll get $15 an hour by 2025, so stop arguing.
We're not even going to get that.
Okay, well, listen, I think it's a great segue into this next segment. Everything you said there is so great. But what do you say really quickly before we play this video? Because we are talking about the squad, and we do. Right now, I think my favorite squad member is Rashida Tlaib. Absolutely, when she came up with the civil liberties type of mentality of the bill, when she talked about taxing Wall Street, that stuff coming to fruition. But we do call it like it is because we think generally, overall, they have failed us and they haven't been doing what they were put there to do. What do you say, fam, to people who say, well, you don't know what AOC should do. You don't live in her district. It's not up to you. Do you have any? I mean, I'm very curious because that's the thing that I got yesterday. I got attacked online. Like you're speaking for AOC's base. You don't even live in her district. You live on the other side of the country. And I was like, what?
Her own district is complaining about her. By the way, if you go and you listen to some of the people that supported her own district is complaining. But also, AOC became a phenomenon of a candidate because she got so much support, not from New York only, but from the entire United States. In fact, we organized a West Coast AOC breakfast with organizers and activists of the community. And she got to actually make money and fundraise off of all of us. And she fucking refused even then to promote non-democratic candidates. And that was when some of the people were like, that's kind of weird that she's not really like pushing any other progressives, you know, outside the party. I mean, I know she ran as a Democrat, but you should still be pushing like third-party candidates if they're good and blah, blah, blah. And she didn't do that. And, you know, we everybody, not just us, but like in other states, I know that I organized with people for a while when it came to fundraising for AOC. These people were not living in fucking New York. They were living in Wisconsin, Alabama, all over California, Washington State. All of these people put in all this money and all this effort to get her to go into the Democratic Party to take them down, essentially, not just her, but with the squad. And it's the fact that she can use her social media and her following to do this. She doesn't have to play ball with the DC Beltway. She really doesn't have to. And this excuses that people keep making, or, oh my God, Queen AOC, you cannot say anything against her. It's fucking ridiculous at this point. I'm not going to let that shit slide. We're not going to have another Barack Obama. This is completely unacceptable. She has 12.5 million followers. I mean, she just keeps growing her social media. In the beginning, she had like 9 or 10 million. And imagine just starting a protest. Imagine starting a sit-in. Imagine saying, you know what, we're going to go to DC until we get you Medicare for all. We're not going to move. We're going to stop this whole thing. She could fucking do that. That's what people want. That's what people need. And she's not doing it.
Well, 2 things, fam. I love it when you can answer to all those people coming at me at my Twitter. So what fam said right over there.
And we're gonna clip that up and just post it.
Just clip it up. I'm gonna put it on my Twitters. Just like, all right, you want to know why? Just because we're out of a district doesn't mean something. And like I said, she did come to L.A. We raised her money.
Yeah, both of y'all. Both of y'all helped help with that
because we liked her. We really were. We excited because she was all about what's going on and taking the establishment. But fam, I think you're being a little bit too cavalier and you're not realizing the strategy.
Oh, really?
Play the video.
I wasn't ready. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Disappointed. But the squad is ultimately the best that we have in terms of being able to push an agenda. And what that means is that you might not always agree with the methods. I need people to understand that when you are on the inside, it doesn't mean that you are selling out. I know they've gotten a lot of pressure, but they are the ones up there holding it down. They're pushing as hard as they can. And just because things are not going exactly the way, just because they're not using the exact tactics that some in the activist community want them to use, that doesn't mean that you throw them away. Because guess what? If you're throwing away members of the squad who are our best opportunity to get what we need, and also some members of that progressive caucus, then you're not going to have anybody there. So if the prerequisite, in summation, if the prerequisite for relationship means that I have to do, or the squad has to do everything you say, the way you say do it, then there's not much of a relationship at all. And that you're going to be disappointed. Hell, they're going to be disappointed with me. I said that to Tim Black when we interviewed. I'm saying it to you, Mike. I want them to know you're going to be disappointed at some point. But that does not mean that you give up totally on the people who are the best fighting chance that you have. And then there's something called strategy. So the grassroots strategy is different than the strategy once you are on the inside. You will know when somebody is sold out. And I assure you that the squad has not, underline, bold, underscore, sold out in any way. They need the grassroots. You can hold them accountable, but you don't throw them away. I mean, some of the pressures, even with Congresswoman Cori Bush, I just want to use her as the example. I mean, she just got there. Hell, overall, the squad members overall just got there, even the ones who've been there a little longer. And then you have people just throwing up their hands, throwing them away just because they're not using the tactics that you want them to use. You don't know what is going on.
All right, fam. Let me just say this right now. Do you want to, Johnny, you got something? If you don't like the mafia, why don't you join it and change it from the inside? I love that one. And I think really to tell you the truth with what the ex-congresswoman is saying, soon to be new congresswoman, probably, if they don't rig her election. Yep.
Yeah, she's a senator. She was a senator.
She was an ex-senator?
Yeah.
She
was
senator. A state senator.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so now
Nina Turner was a state senator.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, fam, your initial thoughts on this right now, because I got to tell you something right now. This whole thing is there's strategy. Why are you calling them out? Number one, I want to say that I don't think necessarily they sold out. You probably have a different take on this than me. My thing is they never got to a position when they could sell out. They were still on trial for me. I was still judging them to see what they were going to do. They never did what they said they were intended to do, which was to get us health care and fight like hell till you get it, and to oppose the establishment. They didn't do that. And it really is what I'm saying about the Democratic Party is lost right now. Because even what Nina Turner's talking about right now is like, it's the ideology, fam. They don't have the ideology. We were always questioning the fact that we're going in there, people like Cori Bush, people like AOC, not talking about foreign policy, nothing on their website, nothing of substance. And when AOC has a chance to talk about Venezuela, what does she do? She defers to the caucus leadership, and she still goes ahead and points to everybody who's a warmonger. It's okay. I mean, we're about to have Neera Tanden come into our politics right now. Neera Tanden is about to get a position. We have gone backwards. The squad has gotten us nothing, and they're nowhere to be found when it comes to fighting for our civil liberties. A little slice from Rashida Tlaib, but when AOC had a chance to go after Mark Zuckerberg for our data, our personal information, our blueprint of what we do and stuff on the internet, selling it to these other companies. She said, why are you letting fake news go up there? So really, to me, it's all about the ideology of the establishment party and the leadership and the young people, the squad coming in there. They're nowhere to be found on the issues that are really, really important. I mean, now you can't even talk about elections. That's thrown out the window right now. So I guess we've completely digressed. So when it comes to those three issues, they're nowhere to be found. And Nina Turner should have never ran as a Democrat. She should have been leaving the Democratic Party by now from everything she's witnessed, but yet now she's here sitting there and defending the squad. No, sorry. You're too cavalier, Mrs. Turner.
I respect Nina Turner. I mean, I really like Nina Turner. I think she used to be one of those people during the Bernie Sanders campaign where she would go out and say the things that needed to be said when even the whole campaign staff wasn't even on board. It seems to me in the last few months that she has been playing the game a little bit, trying to fit in with the squad, trying to join the squad, trying to, be quoting Obama. I mean, we've talked about these things, right? This isn't anything that just started. This is something that happens because these people feel like they need to play the game in order to get anything done. They say, this is how it's always been. This is what you have to do. If you don't play ball, you're not going to get anything done. If you don't suck ass, you're not going to get anything done. And my question is, why the fuck does this have to continue being like this if it hasn't worked? It hasn't worked. Every single time we elect these fucking progressives, they go in there. What do? They basically turn into the rebranded Democratic Party with a prettier face, a more intersectional face, but it's still fucking authoritarian. It's still fucking fascistic. It's still all of these things. It doesn't change. It just changes the face. And that's not what we want. The American people, this is an unprecedented time. We have economic inequality. We have environmental crisis. We have fucking people in Texas freezing to death. I mean, this is not, you don't do the same thing when you have a situation that requires something much, much more. And when you have a people that are on the brink of losing everything, and they have, and then you have politicians that are just saying, well, let them eat snow. Well, just let them fucking die. Who cares? I mean, we're still going to get our money. We're still going to continue doing the status quo. When you have politicians like Andrew Cuomo getting away with what he's gotten away with, how do you justify in defending the criticisms that are very, very valued and very, very valid against the squad? I mean, that people aren't saying, oh, let's throw them away and let's never talk to them again. People are holding them fucking accountable, and that's okay. They're public servants. I'm not here to be their cheerleader. They're fucking public servants, and they're supposed to produce. What could have happened is, oh my God, the squad gets in there. Yeah, guess what? We're gonna force a vote on Medicare for all. You don't want to fucking hear about that? Yeah, I'm gonna talk about it again, because the fact is they didn't do that at a moment where they had the opportunity to take the carpet from under the establishment Democrats, and they didn't do it. They instead mocked the whole situation, especially AOC, and completely put it on the people, started gaslighting, saying this is violence. And then they focus on impeachment after impeachment and on the Capitol riots. And then they don't fight for the things they should be fighting for. Where is AOC holding Biden accountable for nominating Neera Tanden? I haven't heard a peep from any of them regarding Neera Tanden. Where are they on the fact that Julian Assange is still being prosecuted? Oh, wait, they don't care. They need to look into that more. Yeah. Where are they on the fact that our government is supporting, of course, multiple coups right now, one in Haiti, one in Ecuador? We're amping up our presence in Syria, in Iran. This is they don't talk about those things. Why do I know more about foreign policy than they do? Yeah. And they get paid, what, $175,000 a year, and they get to go to therapy for one fucking day they experience, and you want me to have empathy for them? They don't have empathy for us. And the fact is, you're not supposed to talk about, oh, well, you don't understand strategy. Because that is a neoliberal talking point. That is a centrist neoliberal talking point that we got told as Bernie supporters for the last fucking 5 years. You don't understand strategy. You don't understand how it works from the inside. That's what you were told as a Sanders supporter. That strategy and practicality and you and your purity. You don't understand what's going on. We understand what's happening on the ground. Just because you go inside doesn't mean that the situation fucking changes. Yeah. And that's the problem with these people, is that they act like we're supposed to just support them and put all our faith and all our trust in these people. And when they don't do their job, we're just supposed to say, okay, well, they're trying. They just got in here. Yeah, Cori Bush just got in there. And guess what she fucking did? Push legislation to make it impossible to talk about election fraud. She instead of bringing legislation to actually say, you know what, we need more transparency in our elections, the first thing she does is heighten this whole, oh my God, the Capitol insurrection and election. These Republicans who pushed the undermining of our democracy, they need to be kicked out. Instead of doing anything else, that's the first thing she does.
Yeah, and she goes on the floor and saying we need to get rid of the white supremacist president when she voted for Nancy Pelosi, who's tied into the real estate lobby, which actually puts people in the streets.
And Joe Biden.
You know what I'm saying? And Joe Biden, like, once again, like, just call it like it is and stuff. So, fam, we obviously think the fact that she didn't fight the establishment, a lot of the squad people didn't fight the establishment, that's an issue we have. But what about the ideology right now? Because I'm saying, like, listen, it's a coming of age, like, enlightenment right now. Now we understand that anybody within the Democratic Party, whether they be grassroots, progressives, whatever, their ideology is off. In other words, they're not going to fight for civil liberties. They're not going to do anything with foreign policies, and they've abandoned it. In fact, they've made it so hard that you can't even talk about elections. Shouldn't we face the fact that Nina Turner was never great on those ideologies as well? I mean, she did slip up when she had that slip up. She goes, let me tell you something about Putin. When she was going after Putin, right? So, and we talk about Cori Bush. Cori Bush never talked about foreign policy. Can't we at least acknowledge right now that there's an ideology difference?
I don't even think that's ideology. I think it's foreign policy and knowledge. It's policy knowledge they don't have. Because if you know this information and you willingly do that, that's not an ideology. That's just the fact that either you don't know the policy and you're ignorant on the policy that you should know if you're running for Congress or if you are in Congress, or it is not beneficial to you to talk about those things, because then you're not going to be able to be part of this club. But the problem is when you try to be part of this fucking mafia, that you end up getting changed. You don't change it.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps happening over and over and over again. And people wonder, Pasta, why I'm against people running as Democrats. Because all these people are told, you have to play ball, and they end up playing fucking ball. Yeah. And then they get in there and nothing fucking changes. So I am sick and tired of people saying, well, you got to do an inside strategy. No, I'm so fucking done with it. It doesn't work.
You're not going to change the party from the inside, fam?
We're never going to get revolutionary change from the fucking same mechanisms that got us in here in the first place. That's never going to happen. You can't, and even through electoralism alone, you're not going to get revolutionary change, and that's what's needed right now in this country. There needs to be massive change to the point it is revolutionary, because you're never going to get that. Do you think fucking Malcolm X or Fred Hampton would be like, you know what, we need to work with these people that are trying to kill us. We need to work with them and cooperate with them. No. That's why they're dead. Like, this is not how it works. Okay. You don't change it from the inside. Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, when I was talking the ideology, I think that they still think that you can separate foreign policy from domestic policy. And there's a lot of people who still feel that, like, let's not worry what they're doing over there. Let's take care of our problems at home. And I think that's just a failed mentality, and you can't look at things that way. But my other question was... well, never mind. We're getting close to the other thing like that.
Well, I just wanted to say,
I don't want to dive into this whole kind of other situation and stuff like that. But.
Well, just stop saying things like, there are allies. Why would we go after our own? Whose allies are they? Like, if they're not doing anything for the working class, and it's not just on them, but they are the ones we put our faith in to push back into the establishment. That's why we're mad at them, because I don't expect Nancy Pelosi to do shit for us. Yeah. And I don't expect a Republican to do shit for us. I expect them, who ran on healthcare and ran on all these progressive things, to do shit. And they're not doing it. So yeah, I'm going to be twice as mad at them, because we put our faith and our money into these people, and what are they doing? They're not doing shit.
Yeah.
And they should be called out for it. And there's nothing wrong for doing that. And the people who are doing it are actually showing you, yeah, that's how it's going to be from now on, because people are fucking done taking this shit. They're done.
My question was too, well, we still got a couple minutes. Let me ask you this question. What about the part when she says, why are you going after people who give you the best chance to get policies you want within Congress, right? Now, the question is it the Democratic Party? Because a lot of people say, listen, it is the way it is. There are these two parties. We have to go with the Democrats because they are still the best chance. They're closest to our ideology of being compassionate, loving, helping people, rather than the Republicans who are just cold-hearted, all about business, warmongering pieces of shit. I mean, does that still float over here? Because my personal opinion is that that's just a tactic to keep you distracted to think that the Democratic Party is better, but they're all about the same ideology when they're just a pro-corporate establishment party on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, I wouldn't even, like I said, I wouldn't even say it's ideology. I would say it's like they are one entity. It's two sides of the same coin. They only, the point of the Democratic Party, the point of the Justice Democrats, the point of DSA, the point of all these organizations that try to reform the Democratic Party, our revolution now, the point of all these organizations is to work within the system.
Yeah.
And when you do that, what do? You drag people to work in a system that is killing them. So to me, at this point, and I was talking to a friend last night, I said, at this point, to me, our biggest enemy it's not the Republicans, it's not even the liberals. Our biggest enemy are our very own people who continue to gaslight and say that working inside the Democratic Party is the way to achieve any sort of substantial change. Those are our biggest enemy, because what that is doing is going to become the new Democratic Party. It's going to become the younger face of the Democratic Party for generations to come. If we don't stop that, if you continue to put all your attention on rebuilding something that cannot be rebuilt or reformed, that you are continuously in the way of creating any sort of revolutionary change. In fact, the people who want to reform the Democratic Party constantly shit on third-party attempts, constantly shit on direct action. They say they talk about it, but they don't really want to do it. They want to push papers. They want to push committees. They want incrementalism. That doesn't work. It's not going to work. We're at a breaking point here. And I don't think these people realize that we're at a breaking point. And that those people are in our way, are in the way of the people who want true revolutionary change. They're in the way. And those people then now are my enemy, because they're not understanding that if all of us put all of our effort here, we're never going to build something there. And that's what the Democratic Party is doing. They're using these new wave of progressives to just rebrand the Democratic Party.
And I think its main weapon is sycophancy, right? Like they make these people like AOC rock stars and they promote them and whatnot, and you love them. And then therefore, when you're so hooked on AOC, and we love AOC, the purple t-shirt, the whole 9 yards, let's go. It doesn't make a difference what policy position she stands behind or what she fails to do, because now you're so invested in her personally that she can get away with basically allowing Cuomo to commit murder. When she had enough power, 12.5 million people, she could have called a rally. Wear your mask out in front of these nursing homes. The media would have been down there. The lights would have been on there. But how dare you cross the party line? So now you're like, oh, well, AOC's got other things going on. You can't expect her to know everything, even if it's in her own state, her own district. I mean, this is all in a condensed area of New York. If you haven't been to New York, this is all happening in one area. It's right in her face. So, and fam, maybe I'm missing something too as well. We see that TikTok of that person saying, oh, you can't be a Democrat and be progressive and work. And then it's me passing progressive policies. Ladies and gentlemen out there, help us out. What policies have the squad given us, the people who put them there in power? Please tell us. I should make a tweet, because am I missing something? Did something pass in the middle of the night that the squad really brought us, whatnot? Oh, they changed the dialogue. They changed the talking points. No, Bernie Sanders did that years ago, and then he failed to live up to the promises of the things he pushed. So, I mean, the squad's doing the same thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have something out there that said the squad gave us something, I'll make a tweet later. If I have to stand corrected, if we have to stand correct, let us know, because I don't know a piece of freaking policy. Like I said, we're about to confirm near a tandem to control our pocketbook here in the United States. We've gone backwards in the last 4 years, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, we've gone backwards. People that voted for Jill Stein in 2016 voted for Joe Biden in 2020. The progressive movement is fucking destroyed. It's entirely co-opted. The Bernie progressive movement is fucking done. Yeah. It's absolutely entirely it's become an extension of the Democratic Party. Yeah. That's all it is. And now what we have to do, good. And now what we have to, they should be crying, because they should stop letting go. Oh, a year ago Bernie won Nevada. Yeah. Oh, we could have had Bernie. Why didn't you talk about election integrity? Like, why were we the only ones talking about election integrity? None of you gave a shit about election integrity. Very, very few of you did.
Because it's so funny, too, as well. And the same people who stood behind that shit, who then got cheated again, are like, oh, my God. It's like, listen, guys, you have to call it out for what it is. And they make this a position when it comes to election integrity that if you go against it, you're a sore loser, you're a baby. So what do you do if you don't have heart to stick up for what's going on? You capitulate and you say, okay, that's it. I don't want to be looked at as a baby. I want to run again. It's like, oh, we're thinking about our next run before going through the procedures of the last run. And that's like I tip my hats off to Angelica Duenas. She has announced she's running for Congress in 2022, but she was there, Johnny, right? Fighting for election integrity the whole way until there was nothing left to fight for. And that fight's still going to go on, and she won't abandon it. And now she's going to bring more light and attention to that, what's going on. But you have people who just got cheated. And let me tell you something, fam. We didn't even talk about Cuomo in New York. He changed the election laws. It didn't go through the legislation. So that's another state where people are having lawsuits going on where they had dead people voting again. You know what I'm saying? People who moved. And Cuomo, Capo Cuomo, changed the laws illegally, unconstitutionally. Don't want to get off on that.